This is the hook, and this is the first part to keep people watching your episode. There are 4 parts to that and a structure you need to follow, and that's exactly what Rachel and I are talking about in today's episode. Hello and welcome to a brand new episode of Be the Hero of Your Brand. I'm Ben.
And I'm Rachael.
And we are the podcast people here at your video team.
Yeah, bam.
That works, doesn't it?
Did it just?
Slight change to our name, but there's a reason why we're doing some changes, because you've had a conversation recently, haven't you?
Yeah, I had an epic call with Jojo from Creative Sass. Sassy Not Sorry. Legend. She gave me, well, it was supposed to be half hour, but I think I stole 45 minutes. I stole an extra 15 minutes of her time. Just talking. And what I loved is that Jojo very much set the boundaries very early and was like, right, I'm going to be talking at you. I'm going to be talking a lot. There might be little tangents. I'll scribble and we'll come back to them. How do you want my delivery? Do you want it like...
Did you go soft and gentle?
Soft, medium or hard, but that sounds really wrong. But that's theoretically kind of what she was going.
You went soft and gentle, didn't you?
No, I didn't. I was a good... I went, no, if I'm going to do this and I'm going to do it properly, I want it hard. I'll cry later and I'll come back to it. And I didn't cry. Because you know when you know someone's telling you, I trusted everything she was telling me. And guiding me. It wasn't like, you're crap at this.
Yeah, but in the year that we've known her, I think she's proven.
Oh my goodness. Like watching what she's created and then getting to see in a couple of different roles now has been amazing.
But with that conversation, what did you learn? What's our homework?
Home play. Our home play. We need to work on our values because we don't have clearly outlined values for the business. And this is something that we have spoken about in the past.
Yeah.
I worked on my values very early on when I came.
But that's
into
your
the business.
personal values more than our business values, which I think we do have different personal values.
Which aligns, but I think the problem is that because our values are ever so slightly different, there's crossovers, but how do we get the business to have their own values? Then became a battle of the values between us.
Yeah.
So we've got home play to go away and do some work on, and then we're going to get the values, and in a really cool kind of acronym way, where one word creates...
I assume so.
Okay, cool.
That sounds right. Acronym sounds like it could be the right thing.
There's a really cool way we're going to have values.
That'd be interesting to find out.
It will. So we're going to go... That's our home play that we've got. I got that emailed over today.
Well,
so...
can I make a suggestion of one?
No. Of one what?
Value.
Oh, okay.
Well, it might sound like 2, but I think it's a good value to teach and learn.
Learn and teach.
Maybe. It doesn't necessarily mean that we're going to
is
learn
that
something
we
to teach.
learn and then we teach everybody else?
I think it's very
Or
much
we're
like
teaching, you're learning.
we are doing both.
Okay.
We're learning, we're teaching, we're helping other people learn, we're supporting them. But like the information that we have, I just want to kind of give it away.
I like that. And do you know what? It does sit nicely because today I was doing some teachings and learnings. So inadvertently doing it because I just can't help but help, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, it does feel like a value that's there. So
I think...
And Jojo said as well, like there's a way to play on it as well. And how she's... like I say, she's given me the tools to go away and play with it in like how she's sassy not sorry is. So our goal is to come up with the name and then our 2 words that flow together.
Yeah.
And I feel like I should do that.
I also think there's a lot of teaching and learning you can do when you're creating content and stuff. You've got to figure out how you're going to learn from it. But it's also part of why the episode today we're doing a teaching. We're getting people at the start of the process going, how the heck do I...
Well, this is how we've kind of tried to build... Sorry, that... Ouch. Every time. Pull my own hair. We tried to build
Start
these...
that again. This is how we...
Well, this is how we're trying to kind of build this series within our podcast, isn't it? Almost. Within this is we are always... We have our marriage counselling at the beginning, how to be married. Happily married. And then don't laugh like that anyway.
Most involves you reading the notes beforehand.
Yeah, how am I happily married? And then within that we then go on to obviously the podcasting side of things, and like you say, is in each one we've started early in your podcast what you can do to then sort of how to structure. Well, that's today's one, and that's that's our flow. That's what we've got planned over the coming weeks. Is that right? Are you reading? No, you're reading how to be happily married. So, which is why we've got this, but we're not going to tell you. Well, we're going to run through this with you. We're going to tell you how you can get one, and are we going to give it up?
Oh yeah, yeah. There's a giveaway here. We've got something to help people with. So this episode is about how to structure an episode.
Yep.
This episode is about how to structure an episode. That sounded weirder when I said it out loud.
It didn't sound weird at all from this end. So, but okay, crack on.
So it's how you're going to break it up. How you're going to break up your script. Not that it's 100% scripted, but how you're going to break it up. The timings of each section, the superpower of each section when you're going through it, and again, what's the tool that we're using for ourselves and for others, and that's what they're going to get to take away.
Ooh, aren't we lovely?
Yeah, we are. We've mentioned the word a few times. Structure
Scares me, this word sometimes.
I can understand that, but why is it so important compared to just winging it?
Well, because as we all know, I may like a little tangent. And with a structure, I know where I'm coming back, what I'm coming back to. I'm not going on that tangent and then I feel like sometimes I fall out of the spacecraft and I just float off in the abyss and I'm like, oh.
Yeah. There's no payoff to what you're saying at that point. Not aimed at you directly, but to people who are just winging it. You always miss the payoff.
Yeah.
Maybe you don't always miss the payoff, but you're taking too long to get there. Your audience are missing the payoff.
Well, I think it's a common thing with those that are maybe of a neurodiverse brain mind wave, is that we get caught up in our story and what we're doing, and then on another one and then forget. Whereas, I like a loose structure.
Yes, but the structure that we're going to give people today, that we're going to go through in a minute, is that loose structure. It is that guide to because a structure doesn't just keep you on track. It allows you to be able to review properly. It allows you to look at everything after the fact. Once it's been released, people start watching it. You see where the drops off. So if everything's in sections and segments, you think about the TV shows that you watch nowadays. They're all structured around the same way every time you do it.
Yeah.
Because it feels familiar to your audience, but also allows you to know this is when the audience drops off.
Yeah.
So is that bit a weak section? Is there something we can do to improve that?
And I think, again, it's that review is important, isn't it? Because it's not necessarily that it's a bad thing. It might just need a bit of a tweak. And it's really important to be listening to your audience. Ask them, if there's a section in here, our marriage counselling section at the beginning, I don't know. If we're seeing people are skipping over that, use our other socials to be like, hey, those that listen to the podcast, do you enjoy that part of the podcast? What is it that you're missing? What is it like? Ask that question, because there's no point you looking at it going, oh, well, people are skipping that, I'll just scrap it. When actually it might be that they're missing it because they're missing a payout at the end. They enjoy it, but...
Yeah, and it could be that that section isn't ideal for your target audience, or your target audience are the people that are staying there watching it, which makes them more valuable. If there's just people, because you do get different audiences come into your podcast and be like, no, I just want this learning bit. I don't care about you that much. But we believe that there is an element of the relationship needs to be built.
Yeah.
You need to show that personal side. You need to have those conversations about what were you up to this week? Who have you spoken to? What have you learned this week? What have you done this last few weeks? How are you moving forward? That's all really good stuff to know that your target audience are invested in you. Yeah. So you might get a big drop off, but with the right audience, and if they're the right audience, because they will comment when you do ask the questions. They will they will subscribe, they will...
Yeah, although I'd say as well is allow that trust to build. That's not going to happen necessarily straight away. You might get the odd golden nugget that does. That's like, yeah, I'm invested straight away and I'm in on it. But how many podcasts do you listen to? How many times do you sit there and go, oh yeah, oh my goodness. And do you actually comment and go, oh my gosh, you said this? And don't expect loads of people to be doing it to you. You're not doing it to other people. People are afraid to put their head above the parapet, even in the comment section. Yeah. So allow that time to nurture. For once one person comments, the next will, and the next will, and that snowball effect will happen where
you will find people come up to you and ask you before they potentially write on.
Yeah, or private message you as well, things like that. So don't be discouraged if in your first 20 podcasts you're not getting any comments or not getting many comments, things like that. Like, just keep going.
Keep going.
Past episode 21, top 1% of podcasts.
Yeah. Show you're an authority in what you know. Teach people what you've learned, like we're doing here. And then, it will build from there. And you do review stuff. If you see it's a continuous thing that people are just dropping off or skipping or not listening, especially if they drop off and don't come back, that's probably a segment that you want to learn. But if you don't have structure, you just come in every episode and it's different, your audience don't feel like they know this episode. They don't know
where it's going.
Yeah, and big podcasts do it. They might seem a bit more free flow than what you may think, but talk about entertainment, talk about the Ramsey's podcast. It's structured with a bit about what they've been doing, what they're up to, what their beef is this week, what they don't like about each other, questions from the public, and that's their episode. Kind of those three big pillars of their episode. You look at Diary of a CEO. You're going. He's asking questions that help you find out who the guest is, help the guest express and show they're the authority, what they predict is going to happen, and obviously it ends on that diary question. But again, he's got his pillars that he wants to hit, the point that you cry, or he wants his guest to cry.
But these aren't just podcasts that are structured this way. This is all TV, okay?
All shows.
Let's go to your...
No, all shows that are successful are built with structures.
You could look at The Traitors from 2 points in that. You've got The Traitors, the show. So we all know you're going to get breakfast. Claudia's going to say something. They're all going to then go for a chat. They're all going to do the mission. You're all going to do the banishment. And then you're going to have the Traitors Tower. And pretty much more so on this latest season, season 4 as well. Sometimes we've had a cliffhanger in a really random, like, it's after the banishment. We haven't even gone to the tower or something like that. But this time we always seem to get to the turret of and it's just about to sign. Who are we going to see them sign? Yeah. And
the bits that I'm most interested in are the round table and the breakfast. I can sleep for the rest of it.
Yeah.
I'm never really worried about the actual game that they're doing.
No.
But the bits that I'm excited by are the breakfast and the round table.
It's the psychology bit.
And when they meet in the turret, like that those bits, and like I love every little bit of conversation. The actual game that they play in the day.
You're really not
I'm not fussed about that. If they look all right, but I can go off and make a cup of tea. I can, but I love the psychology, and again with the podcast, Traitors podcast.
Yes,
it's structured the same all the way through.
Yeah.
Ed talks to his usually two guests that he has, about the episode itself, what they think about it.
What makes him a super fan.
Yeah, what makes him a fan of it. Most of them have been on it.
Yeah.
And then it's going to the VT or the cutaway.
Well, they'll have their comparisons, won't they, in that? Oh, no, I suppose I get what you're saying. Yeah, they have the guest talk first.
Yeah.
Then the VT.
Yeah, where the people who have been kicked out or murdered.
Banished or murdered.
Talk to each other for a second, and then they're sharing their experience, and then it goes to what they think is going to happen next, who they think is going to win, and then it goes off to some other thing on another platform, which we don't watch because we can't just dedicate our lives to watching the Traitors.
That's rubbish. It's because we like to watch the entire thing.
We do love to watch.
I prefer to watch than I do listen, because when I have tried to then continuate that listening on BBC Sounds, I get distracted and I haven't heard a word they've said.
But that's again why video is so powerful, because it does keep you more engaged, more interested.
It's how I, as a person, absorb information,
and it's how the larger portion of the audience do as well.
Yeah.
Or a larger portion of the audience do. So
that's the importance of structure. It makes it successful.
Yeah, and we are bringing it into the podcast that we work with. So the Kent Business Show. It comes with a structure. This is our, you introduce them, then it's about how they got to where they are, why their journey up to that point. You have a break in the middle, and then you come back and you pick out a story. Go and you talk about how the last thing you spoke about is dominant in the next section.
Yeah, and then their future, like what's next, what are we watching out for as a business and things like that. Yeah, there is that structure, and that allows. And what that also can do is put your guests at ease as well, right? So each of our guests that come on the Kent Business Show know the structure of the episode, know the structure of my interview process, so that they know I'm not there to trip them up. I'm there to support them and find out the best information from them. So what if they know that, they don't walk in there going, oh my God, I don't know what to talk about. Like, you do. You absolutely know what to talk about.
Definitely know what to talk about. Let's move on to what is a good structure, how the 4 sections that your podcast episode should be broken into. And it doesn't matter if it's a interview, a solo episode, or a discussion. Mm-hmm. If you put these 4 sections into your episode or build it around these 4 sections, it is going to be a successful structure. The first section that you are going to do is the hook.
Yep.
This is anywhere between 5 and 60 seconds. It can be longer if it's the right type of hook.
It's the right time of hook. You're here watching, aren't you? You're here watching. You're here. We hooked you in.
And to me, there's 2 types of hooks when it comes to a podcast.
All right, then.
The first one is the trailer or the tease hook.
Okay. So this is your movie style.
Yeah, exactly. You're teasing people what's coming on. So, again, talking about Diary of a CEO, but even Don't Work Harder, Andrew and Pete's podcast.
Suman's podcast.
Suman's.
It's not Andrew and Pete's.
The Atomic podcast, hosted by Suman. It has a very good start to get people excited about the episode. It's showing who the guest is. It's giving them little teasers about what they're going to say, what they're going to talk about, and those little teasers are going to be what keep people staying there to watch it.
They are. I don't like a movie trailer because it spoils the movie. All the best bits are in the trailer. So do we not worry that that's what
makes it powerful is it's always hinting to the answer. It's not giving the answer because these are educational. These are things for people to learn.
Yeah.
Diary of a CEO is very similar as well. Diary of a CEO does it quite differently. It goes, this is the person, see them in their on stages, on their platform, on what they've released, what they've spoke about. So it'll say things like Tony Robbins has helped so many millions of people with a goal to help so many billions of people. Like, it gives you a bit of a voiceover about who this person is, and then it implies what they're talking about in the episode, and then it starts the episode.
Gotcha. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. It's not a spoiler.
Yeah, and that's it. You don't want to give everyone all the information straight away. I mean, it will mean that the trailer would be about 40 minutes long as the episode. So yeah, it's not about that. But
so these are about, it is like that 30-second clip of.
Yeah, 30 seconds up to 60 seconds, that sort of time. It's going to highlight points that's going to be spoken about in the episode. And then you can go into the episode knowing that you've hooked them in. What I would suggest potentially is not to go with an opening credits necessarily. Like, go from this trailer
straight in.
Yeah,
that doesn't need to be. That is your opening credits theoretically, like, because it's all your brand as well, right?
Yeah.
Opening credits would be if you haven't got if you have. Oh, I don't know. It's not if you haven't got a brand. It's about your brand. It's about cementing.
If you feel like you need to push that out, yeah.
Yeah, and again, we wouldn't necessarily advise opening credits because the problem with opening credits is that people would tune out and go, "Oh no, I'm out."
Yeah.
And people don't fast forward. They literally just press stop and they go elsewhere.
I'm done.
So don't worry about opening credits. Have your trailer into the episode.
Yeah.
Or your hook. You might have a 5 to 10 second noise, tune, something, just your title coming up, and then straight into this isn't a full blown. This isn't like TV where people can have to sit there and watch it. They will turn off.
Yeah, it isn't. It isn't. They've got all exciting built up. They don't want it to be broken. Go straight into it. If you put in a logo up there, it's up there for a second, if that. And that's it, whether it's on YouTube or Spotify or any other platform, you're going straight into the episode. If it was audio only, you probably do have that little bit more where you could do a credit and talk about what the episode is. But everything that credits would open would come into would potentially, or everything that opening credits would cover might come in later anyway. We might get onto that. But the second type of hook is the telling them hook. Tell them they're in the right place.
This is the one that I do on the Kent Business Show.
And we do it on this podcast as well.
Right. Okay. So this is the hook where it's telling you, if you are looking for this, if you are this person and you want this information, stick around, because this is what you're going to get from today.
Yeah, and it's 5 to 30 seconds long, maybe 45 seconds. If you want to indulge them in everything that you're going to cover and talk about, so they know that they're at the right place. The art of this is to make sure that the right people do stay and the wrong people do turn off.
Yeah.
It is telling, this is for you if this is what's coming up and what you may want to hear. I would say this has to be scripted, or you really need to know what you're covering.
For us...
For this podcast,
I was going to say, and for actually the Kent Business Show, for both of those, we film them after we've done the episode. Because as much as we know what we do want to cover in the episode, that structure still surprises ourselves sometimes. And although it's on topic, there'll be a key piece of information in there. We're like, whoa, that was really good. That's got to go in the hook. That line was brilliant. And so we will pull on that to create the hook after the fact.
Yeah, we'll give you tools to help you with this. So, and at the end of the episode, we will tell you about the tool that we use, again, to help us create our hooks, help us plan our episodes and all this kind of stuff. You might see us waving them about if you're watching. But yeah, you can potentially come in with a credit on this one to break up between when you've stopped introducing to when the episode starts. You may want to have something to break that up in the middle. So we do have an opening credits for the Kent Business Show.
That reminds people who it's for, doesn't it? So we have this specific episode teaser, then who the Kent Business Show is for as a whole, which is our trailer, our intro sort of thing, and then I dive straight into the interview with that person. We don't have an intro with this one, do we? We have our hook, and then we
have a little bit of music and go into it, and it's on for a second, if that. Yeah. Even that feels too long sometimes.
So again, and I mean, it's a tough one. Know what you want to do. Like, I wouldn't say experiment. However, I'll also talk myself out of that, because go back far enough, and Diary of a CEO didn't always have the credits he has, and what's the other one we listened to? Oh, Shag Married and... No, oh, yeah. Can I say that? Shag Married and Annoyed with Chris and Rosie Ramsey. They've recently added... So they always had their jingle at the beginning, because it is a song about fighting about the jingle. But now, prior to that, they have their "This is what's coming up" in the episode.
Yes, but also...
Because they've changed to visual only.
But it's different on YouTube than it is on Spotify. That's something that you may need to bear in mind as well.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, do you need to do a different... So they would do more of a... so if they've got their guest one, they may do like a trailer.
But, I knew it was different when they have their guests. They've slightly altered them.
Yeah, but there's just a couple of differences from the YouTube channel to their Spotify channel. Okay,
so the next section 2, is the Who Are You? So this is 30 to 90 seconds, I'd say, tops. And it is telling your audience who you are. And this is done on every episode. So this is telling them who you are, what they need to know, what you're talking about, why you're that authority figure, or they're listening, isn't it?
Yeah.
So we would you hear us reintroduce ourselves every time. Like, we are the podcast people. I'm Ben. I'm Rachel. We do that all the time.
You're both of those people.
I'm all of those people. Trust me, my voice is in my head. I've got many more.
Yeah, it isn't about... It's that first point of going, I'm the right person to listen to. So we are the podcast people. It's to tell people we know podcasts.
Yeah.
The saying who we are is so that they can feel familiar, so they get excited next time they see us.
Yeah.
It's not long. In the grand scheme of things, it's not a big massive section. It's going to take up a load of time and everything. Thinking, cool, they're going on about themselves a bit much. It is to go, this is who I am, this is what we're here for, this is why it's for you. And it is that, am I in the right place?
Familiarity.
Yes. Do these people know what they talk about? Yes. I mean, we could talk about, say, how we helped these customers get to 5 times more sales and all that kind of stuff. But
they
that's
come up in the
that's
episodes, don't they? Yeah,
exactly.
That's exactly that.
You
So
don't need to dive deep at this point. You just need to go, this is who you are, this is what... And also, if they are listening, again, like you might have autoplay on YouTube, or you might go to, on Spotify, you might go to a different thing. It'll also tell them if they've moved away, because they'll hear an introduction and go, oh no, that's who I was listening to, I'll carry on.
Yeah. And this is also, you just never know which episode is your listener's first episode. So there's no point us coming in here and being like, okay, hi, blah, 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 and getting straight on with it, because there'll be someone who this is their first episode who go, who the hell are these people? Why? And that's it, they're out. Whereas by having that initial intro, and they're like, oh, that sounds cool. Like, I'm invested in this. Let me listen a bit longer. And it's that hook. Again, your intro can be your additional hook. People have met us at events, and that's what's brought them here. Why are they here? Why are they staying?
Yeah, and that's it. That why are they staying is so essential in here, because if you go on there and be like, oh, I'm just a random Joe, then they're not going to go, this person knows what they're talking about. So we're the podcast people, tells them we know podcasts, listen, because what we're going to say about podcasting is in this episode.
Absolutely.
And that gets followed up very quickly by the meat of the episode.
Meat, man, meat.
Or the content. And this is your episode. It's 15 minutes, 45 minutes. It's a big chunk. It might be longer, but this is what the bulk of your content is. And this does need structure as well. You can't just go in there,
we're going to talk about this.
and then talk and go off on tangents and get lost and not give them a payoff. There is structure to the meat of the content as well.
This is where we talk about, I suppose, the story arc. What's the journey you're going to take someone on? So exactly there, as you said, we could, from our authority point of view, we might want this episode to be an authoritative standpoint with you as to why are these two the podcast people, and what is a podcast going to do for me? And we go, so in this episode, we're going to tell you all about one of our partners who worked with us, who went from getting 3 calls a month to 5 to 6 calls a week, and managing to 5x her income from that. And at that point, you're going, right, I'm hooked. I want to know more. And now we're going to take you on the entire story of how that happened. And I'm not going to take you on this one. Maybe we should do an actual episode where we break it down. But that's now the story.
Yeah,
we've got to
situational tell. Storytelling that is, or you're picking out pain points that people are facing. You're just guiding them through what the issue is that you're trying to resolve, and giving them example of how you're resolving it.
Yeah.
So you're telling them what was happening with your previous client, with your own story. It depends on what aspect you're coming from. If you've got a guest, you're asking them what was your starting point, why, and finding out the why they've changed it to be this new thing, how they fixed it. It's going
their biggest learning from it, because again, this depends on the type of podcast you're going for, right? So this is more of a teaching and learning podcast. So what's the journey we want to take you on? We want to show you pain points that we had, that others have had. We want to take you through the resolution, the solutions, things like that, and then the outcomes. So this is how, because we fixed this is now what our partners and what we have seen in our own podcast journey. If you're interviewing someone, take them on a similar sort of journey. So who they are, why they're that authority figure, why they do what they do, how they learnt what they've done.
The 5 bums on a rugby post, I called it.
Who, what, where, when, why, how.
That's it. Yeah, open-ended questions. What are your open-ended questions? So that person that you're interviewing isn't just going, yeah, nah, yeah. You want them to dive into their story, and they might not be that confident with telling a story, which is why your open-ended questions are there to guide that story. That's how you would do an interview. And we'll do an episode on interviewing. You will do an episode on interviewing. But it is about, and I think you've got to learn to listen when you do interview as well. Like, that's so essential. But
any more of my content? Do you also want to bring up the fact that you've got to allow for pauses during interviews?
Like that one. But we'll make that an episode, the power of the interview, and you can answer all those questions. And yeah, as you're going through it, And again, it works as a conversational piece, having your structure around that.
But what's your podcast about as well? Like what's the arc of yours? So let's go with this, okay? So this one is a teaching and learning podcast. So we know we want to take you on that journey, the pain point, the struggles before, the pain points they had, what they learned, how they learned, and then the resolution thereafter. You've got one like the Kent Business Show. I want to know who you are, why you do what you do, what makes you the expert, and then I want to know what your clients get from you and where you're going in the future. Because in that one, it is all about promoting the person I'm interviewing. In other ones, you know, you might only have a tiny focus. You might have such a specific focus that you could talk about all these other points of that expert. But ultimately, what does your audience want to hear at that point?
Yeah.
So it could be an accounting podcast, right? You could get our entire journey of our thing, but if you only want to know about where our accountancy struggles were, what we brought in to help remedy them, and what now happens because that's been remedied, and why working with you as the accountant podcast person, like that is ultimately all you need to focus about. People don't need to know about our history of our business or our home life and things like that. They just want to know from a business point of view, we were struggling to have a retainer client or a residual income on this monthly basis of that much. We needed to build it to this much because we were growing the business. What were those steps you took with us? So you can be that specific and that aligned in your questioning, and that's where the guided questions can come in.
And it has to come with a payoff. What has changed? And that is when the audience goes, I want that. If you don't give them the payoff, the what has changed, what is different now, because okay, our finances have changed. We've got more money, but with that I've got a lot more stress. I've got a lot more. Are they the pain points that they really want? Like obviously they want more money, so that probably is the main thing. But the client that we had that went from 3 clients calls a month to 5 a week, that came with a lot of other work as well. It wasn't just that, but the result was they 5x their turnover in a short period of time, and it was still growing. That they've actually recruited a team up to 10 instead of it being the original 2. So there was a massive growth because they done that. With that comes with a lot of other stresses. You've got more staff, more payroll, more outgoings, more work at the end of the day. But it was the right thing for their business. If it's not the right thing for your business, they need to know that as well.
And it's also reminding people that this is all manageable, right? So someone you would have heard us talking about more so on our socials and things like that would be Danny Wallace, the Queen Bee. But what she does is, although she now runs a 7-figure business, what she does is remind you that 7-figure business started with her sofa surfing, homeless with her children. What she's reminding us, and the reason she brings this up a lot, and she will continually bring it up, and it's within her talks when she's affirming who she is, when she introduces herself, because it is a doable thing for anybody. If she has managed to do that from homeless sofa surfing with children to building a 7-figure business, it means anyone can do it. And that's, so her target audience is anyone who just has the audacity to want to grow and get big and has that goal.
And it is a case, you do need it to be, your target audience needs to see them in the story, themselves in the story. So if you're having guests, are they going to relate to your audience? If you're telling how you fix something, is that your ideal customer that you fix? So your next ideal customer goes, that's me. If you're having a conversation, are you covering all the points so your target audience goes, yes, I want that? That's what you've got to bear in mind with it, and not be going off on a tangent, leaving them with no result at the end of it, leaving them with no payoff. That payoff is the reason people go, I'm coming back.
Yeah.
I'm coming to you. That's so important.
I think you've got to ask yourself as well, is, again, and I'll use Diary of a CEO as a good example, right? We've talked about how this is following a series at the moment. So am I going to be upset if someone who already has a successful podcast doesn't listen to this episode about structure? No, because the likelihood is the reason they're successful is because they've got their structure down. So I'm not upset when they don't listen to me. I need them to listen to the episode about up-leveling your podcast, which could be with moving from Zoom to a studio setting and why that benefits your podcast. So you say is that now with Diary of a CEO, we used to watch them every week. Now we kind of pick and choose what ones, because is that relevant for me? Like, is investing in property relevant to us? No, it's not on our immediate goal right now. That's not something we're looking to do. So I'm not gonna listen to that episode. What I could do is, at the point we're in that position, is I can go back and listen to it. So don't.
But when it's Alex Hormozy, Daniel Priestley, Tony Robbins, when it's these big, massive business people,
then you're listening,
then we're
because
listening.
They're on about growth of business and how to grow business, and that's where we are in our lives. So think also about, although your target audience is broad, they're all at different levels within your pond. So you've got different level size fish in your pond at the moment, right? So some of them aren't going to listen to, some of them will listen to every episode, and some of them are going to pick and choose what episode. Don't take that as a negative. That's...
Yeah, I think what is essential with that, and that's something we'd be considering in our plans as well, is that you're going to have to go, this episode is for the person at this stage, the next episode is for the person who's further along. Like, you need to do that broad with your content, because you know you need to feed people the stuff when they need it fed, and they need it fed all the time. But let's talk about the final section.
Okie dokie.
The call to action, the ask.
Every episode needs one.
Every episode needs one. And this isn't just going, please subscribe, please leave a comment.
Oh, no.
That is a weak, lazy ask.
And we're numb to it now as well, right? Like, you hear... the thing was, I'm sure we spoke about this either in the last episode or the one before, funnily enough, is you become sound blind, sound deaf, deaf too. You become deaf too.
I think most people become sound deaf when they go deaf.
You're an idiot. Well, no, technically I am. But you can't become deaf to it. I suppose it's that saying, isn't it? You become blind to it. Well, you become deaf to it, to the fact that people go, like, no, and subscribe. And you're like, yeah, cool, because everyone says it. So give me one definitive action you want me to take, an actual action you want me to take from this episode. That's your call to action.
Yeah, and it is about what steps they're going to take. So if you know that, and it aligns not necessarily with what you're trying to sell them, but it aligns with them to get that win, get the win for the next thing. So for us, we'll be telling people about the tool that we use to structure this episode and our episodes going forward, and for people that we work with, and how they can get that. Have you tried to inspire someone throughout an episode to take their next step into investing in property? So what I want you to do this week, put your finances into this sheet. Or you've made a downloadable sheet where they can go, this is where my finance is, and it gives them the results of what they could get as a mortgage or for investment. If you're a burnout expert, Stress Less, Live More, for example, they've got their burnout self-assessment. That's not necessarily going to make you as a business owner money there and then, but it's going to start taking people to the next level of relationship. So,
well, to fill out that burnout assessment, someone's got to put in their email address.
Yeah.
So what you're now building is your email list, which is the most valuable list you will ever have in your business.
So they tell us.
And I'm telling you that from people who have huge Instagrams, huge Facebooks, huge YouTubes. The one list that can never, ever be touched is your email list. Because ultimately, we've watched Facebookers, Instagrammers have their accounts held and stopped, and they've seen the same things, and then you panic because you think, oh my goodness, how do I now talk to my 25,000 followers when my Instagram's been blocked or my Facebook's been blocked by Meta? How do I now reach out to all those people? You can't. What you have got is an email list, and you can still call on that. So if that's there, absolutely build that. And again, don't be afraid of people unsubscribing. I say this, it breaks my heart every time someone does it, right? But it ultimately, then that person's not my target audience.
Spot on. So we've gone over all the 4 points that you need, the reason why you need structure to your episode, the 4 points you want to cover when you are creating an episode. But how can you make sure that you're doing it?
That's this, isn't it? This is what you're edging me towards.
That's what I'm edging you towards.
Our structure, that's what you need. And you can get that because it's going to be available to you.
Yeah, we have made a full episode guide. It is broken down into sections with the episode title. Maybe you put your episode number on there. The people that are going to be on your episode as well. So R1 says Ben and Rachael Bryant, who are the hosts, but you may have guests. You'll put a little bit of information about them on there. The title of your episode or title guide. It's not necessarily the final title.
Yeah, because again, like with our hook that gets done at the end, ultimately your title, you might go, do you know what? That was a really strong title that came out of the conversation. So be kind to yourself. Remember, this is where we will, again, let's talk about this in another episode of how we would get the transcription from a podcast to help support all of that. But that's a whole other episode, right? Yeah,
you're putting on here notes about your call to actions, the tools that you want people to walk away with. For example, R1 is this. The points that you want to hit throughout your episode. It's got a section about the hook, which we've currently got blank because we will fill that in after we've done. Then it's talking about what you're going to hint at.
Those why retention points. Yeah, that's what we said about. Is like, what's that journey? So what's the thing? So for this one, we had the structure, winning over winging it, the 4 points that we needed to cover, and then at the end, the tool. So we gave you that hint as to that's what's going to be coming up in this episode.
And we dropped them in throughout the episode as well. The talking points, I made quite a few notes on here, but the talking points that you want to cover. So these might be the key questions that you want to ask a guest, or the 3 points that you want to hit to teach people that lesson.
Yeah, absolutely. And then we're looking at that outro and your call to action, your toolkit, what it is you are doing, that one thing you are giving them and asking them to do, your audience to do at the end of your episode.
Remember, this is between 1 and 3 minutes, and we're still in there in the time. And then
teaching is different.
But we've got notes section. So if you are doing an interview, you are taking down notes throughout it. You may have notes that you want to go dive in deeper on your talking points. But this doesn't just happen before the episode and during the episode. It's about after the episode.
Yeah, absolutely. So like we said to you, is you need to be going back and reviewing your episodes to find out what's working and what's not working. So ultimately, when you've built this and you've got it going, how many views are you getting in your first 24 hours? How many views is that? What is the average watch time? Because it's all very well getting 100 views, but if people aren't watching past the first minute or two, then we seriously need to look at it. And looking at also where they're coming back, if that's the case. Are they fast forwarding and coming back at another point?
And and it is about writing down what you're learning, what it's telling you. If they're dropping off here, why, how you can fix it. And then bring that into your next episode when you're planning episode 2 or 3 or 4, the following episode.
Also thinking about like where they're clicking through to. So what links have you got? What are they going off to have a look at? Are they clicking to the next episode? Are they clicking to subscribe? Are they going off to the lead magnet that you've given them? Where are they going? And also looking at the best performing. That's what we're going to look at.
Yeah.
Best performing platform.
Yeah.
So ultimately, this is YouTube's great and it will give you a lot of analytics. That's its own entity, isn't it? You know, the average watch time, how long people are listening, where they're coming back, things. Go and have a look at those other channels as well. Audibly, where are they listening to it? Where are you releasing it? Where are they listening to it? See what other platforms are performing well as well.
Yeah, and some podcast host platforms do allow you to look at everything, like all the platforms it's on. But I do suggest that you go to the platform itself. So Apple Podcasting, Amazon Music, TuneIn, Global Player, depending on where you
Buzzsprout,
where you have
so
it,
many.
where you have it, and Spotify for creators as well. Go to them direct and look at because it might just dive into that a little bit further, cover all the aspects that you want to see, and you keep track of all that. And this is again, it's a download from us to you. It's a gift that you can get.
Aww.
Check.
You do have to give us your email.
Do check the description, because there'll be a link at the top of there, but also we'll pin it as a top comment as well so people can get it straight away.
Fancy.
And it is a tool that will help you structure your episodes. It will keep people retained, and you can go forward with confidence knowing that your episode is working for you. And like, comment, and subscribe. No, don't do that.
Well, I was about to ask you a question as well, and I was like, no, my question is go and get this, like, ultimately, because if you've got questions for us, you can stick them in there too.
So there you have it. That's another episode done.
Done.
Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. We will be giving you more tips on podcasting in the future episodes. Do watch out for the next one. That'll be out next week. I'm going to commit to that. You're going to commit to that. And we'll see you then.
Love you, bye.
Love you, bye.